All right, welcome to Punk Rock Radar. Today we're doing the Offspring tier list, so sit back and hold tight and let's kick this off. All right, John. Everyone's been waiting for this, but we're finally here with it. The Offspring. Are you ready to rank these albums?
I'm ready, man. And unlike you, I'm a big Offspring fan. I know that you're kind of lukewarm on them, so you're doing me a favor by doing the Offspring today. But Matt, you and I do have some memories of the Offspring.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think I know what you're talking about. So my question is to all the viewers out there: if you were walking through a crowded area or a venue, would you be able to pick out Dexter? Because John did. So we were at the Warp Tour. I don't know what year it was. Maybe
Oh,
oh
two?
02,
Yeah.
03, maybe 2000.
Mhm. One of
One of
them.
those years, one of those years, doesn't matter. But we're walking, and we're trying to meet some bands, some members, just to say hi and get some autographs, and we're having no luck. And we're just walking up and down. If you've ever been to the Warp Tour, they have like different like little alleys you can go up and down with all different kind of merchandise and all like the swag gears over there, shirts and stuff you can buy. So we're walking past, and we're walking past the Nitro booth, and John's like, "Dude, oh my God, it's Dexter. He's working the Nitro booth." I'm like, "Dude, no, he's not. Why would Dexter be working the Nitro booth? He would not be there. Like, there would be a bigger crowd of people like around that booth. It has to be." So John's like, "Dude, I'm 100% sure that is Dexter." I'm like, "Dude, no way. You're probably dehydrated. It's hot. You're probably seeing things." So we're walking and we're getting closer and closer, and I'm just like, "Holy shit, he's right." And remember, distance impairs judgment. So as we got closer, I realized this is Dexter. So we walked up and we were just like, "Hey, Dexter, how's it going, man?" And nicest guy. He chatted with us for a little bit. We got his autograph, but it was just so odd that no one in the Warped Tour knew that Dexter was working the Nitro booth. Everyone just kept on walking by. I don't know if people don't like the Offspring or like Dexter, but there he was, the whole pretty much Warped Tour at the Nitro booth, just working it.
Yeah, man, I think you're right. I think it was 2001 or 2002, and it was like the height of the Offspring's popularity. I
Hmm.
think, I mean, they were
Hmm.
like super popular, but for
Yeah.
one reason or another, no one was at the Nitro tent. So that's actually where I picked up this first album that Dexter signed. I hadn't heard this before, and I kind of have like a weird relationship with this album, Matt. Like, I think it's okay. Like, I think it's a solid like early '90s, late two. I think it was the late '80s actually. I think it's '89
Yeah,
punk rock
89. Yeah.
album. It's definitely not one of my favorites though. But I'm gonna put it in D. I'm gonna start it off putting the first album in D. Like I like every Offspring album. Let me just start and say that. But we're gonna put two in every tier. So there's gonna be two in D, two in C. But I just want to go on record saying that I do enjoy every single Offspring album. But Matt, how do you feel about this first one?
I'm kind of with you, John. When I heard this one, I wasn't too thrilled about it. It's the first one, kind of quality's kind of, not that great. Some of the songs are mediocre, but I feel like it's better than D. So I'm going to put this one in C. I feel like this is a good first album. I don't feel like it was like a horrible album from them. I give it a little respect and putting it in C. It was their first one, and there's some good songs on here. So that's why I think I'm bringing it up to C.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad, but and I'm glad you put it in C. Show some respect, and we even got the cool punk rock original cover.
That's right.
Because that's how cool we are. But Matt, we're gonna get into the next one, which is Ignition. And at least for me, I think there's like a pretty substantial jump from the first one to this one. We've got some pretty good songs on here. We've got Dirty Magic, We Are One. Again, though, this again is not one of my favorite Offspring albums, so I'm gonna go C here. I think it's an improvement. Like I really like those two songs I mentioned, but I'm more of a fan of what happens after this than the early stuff. So I'm putting it in C. What about you?
Yeah, John, I'm going to have to agree with you with this one. I'm putting this one in C as well. It definitely was a big jump from, the other one, but I don't think I could put this in B, and it definitely doesn't belong in D. So that's why I'm just going with C with this one. It definitely is a big jump from the self-titled one to this one. The quality got better. I feel like those songs you said, there's some really great songs in here as well, and I think I'm just going to keep this one in C.
All right, Matt. Well, I'm gonna let you take us into the next one, what I think is probably the most popular Offspring record. If you want to
Yeah.
take us into Smash.
Yeah, so looking at Smash, I mean, this album, I mean, I feel like it was game changing for the Offspring when this one came out. This, I feel like, made Offspring, put them on the map, and people started to talk about Offspring with this album, I feel like, a lot more. I mean, Self Esteem, Come Out and Play, all those big songs that are on here. So I'm going to have to put this one in S. This is an automatic S tier for Smash. Just for what this album did for the Offspring, I feel like I have to put this one in S.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. Like, I mean, I got this one in 1994, like shortly after Dookie, and what I remember is like back then, this was the cassette that my mom actually let me listen to in the car because I think it has like significantly less like profanity and like adult material than Dookie does. So I remember like listening to this like almost every day, if my mom drove me to school or soccer or whatever. And I don't think there's a single bad song on this album. The only thing it really has working against it is a production. Like if this had like Americana or Conspiracy of One's production, I think, this might be one of the best. Well, it probably is one of the best punk albums of all time. But Matt, for the sake of making our list a little different, I'm going to commit some sacrilege here and I'm going to put this in the A tier. Just so
my God.
just so we can have a different list, because I kind of have like a three-way tie for my favorite Offspring album. So if I have to move one, I'm gonna do it just to make it interesting. But just know, like, I think this is a near perfect punk rock record. I'm just doing it to mix things up slightly.
Got you. So what's your favorite song? If you could pick one song off of this album, what is your like go-to song that you think is just, your favorite one?
I see Self-Esteem when I was a kid was always my favorite, but I gotta go Come Out and Play. Like I just think that one's too good. What about you?
Yeah, so I love those two songs, Come Out and Play and Self Esteem. But after listening to this, like, for a week straight again, I'm going with Nitro, the second song on the album. I just love it. I don't know. I feel like the pace of it, it's just a great song. I feel like it's a great punk rock song.
Yeah. The whole album is solid.
Yeah, man, it is. Yeah.
Like I think Come Out and Play, like it's kind of like their like signature where it's a little goofy style song that they have, but I mean it's not even close to like how goofy they get with the later albums. Like it's actually, like I said, it's my favorite song on the album. But Matt, up next, we've got the album that I swapped just now with Smash for the S tier, and that's going to be Ixnay on the Hombre, which I believe is how you say it. I could be wrong. And this one has probably my favorite Offspring song of all time, which is The Meaning of Life. And Matt, I don't know if you remember, but when we were in high school, we had like a little disagreement whether he's saying "oh yeah" or "mo yeah" in the chorus, and I was right. It is definitively "mo yeah" in that chorus. And I mean, this one's also got let's see what else. All I Want is on here. Cool to Hate. I mean, Don't Pick It Up is essentially a Suicide Machine song, if you ask me. Like that could have been written by the Suicide Machines. So I'm putting Ixnay on the Hombre in the S tier. What about you?
Yeah, John, I'm with you. This is a solid back-to-back release by them. This is going straight into the S tier. I feel like this was the perfect follow-up to Smash. I feel like the production got a little better in this one. I feel like some of the songs got better. And I would actually put this one like in my S tier over Smash. I would say this one is better than Smash, I would say.
All right, so we're both committing a little bit of sacrilege here because I think Smash overall collectively has a better like group of songs, but I think Ixnay, like I don't even know, man. Like the good songs on here are great, but I don't know. I don't really know what I'm
like. Cool to Hate. I mean, I love Cool to Hate. That song's just so good. Yeah, I don't know. I like this one better than Smash. So I'm going to do a little sacrilege there and say this one is better than Smash. My opinion, you can disagree if you would like, but that's what I think.
Well, I'm gonna take it a little further because Americana is probably the one I listen to most nowadays. So like for that reason, I'm putting Americana in my S tier. And I'm like a little curious what people are going to say about that. I'm not sure what the consensus is on Americana because there are like goofy songs, but I mean, you have You Ever, The Kids Aren't All Right. It's probably my second favorite Offspring song. You got No Breaks. You've got the title track, which is good. I think this is the best Dexter's vocals sound. I love this album. I still listen to this all the time. So this is going to be my other S tier album. What are you thinking for this one, Matt?
Yeah, so going through this one, I struggled with this one. There's some songs like I don't like the two major songs that came off this album. I'm not a big fan of, like, Pretty Fly and then Why Don't You Get a Job. Like, I didn't like those two songs. It just, I don't know, left like a bad taste in my mouth, like listening to it over and over, those songs. So I'm going to put this one in A. It is a solid album, but just because of those two songs, I don't like them. I'm putting this one in A.
Yeah, I don't like Why Don't You Get a Job either, for what it's worth. That's probably my least favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
So here's where we're stacked up now. And Matt, if you want to take us into the next one, Conspiracy of One.
Yeah, so Conspiracy of One, I didn't know where to put this one, to be honest with you, John. And like, I'm struggling right now where to put this. And, looking over the track list again, I think I'm going to put this one in B. I think this is going to be a B tier for me, Conspiracy of One.
What's your favorite one on here?
I guess Want You Bad. That's a good song. That's a poppy song, I feel like.
Yeah.
How about you? Yeah, I think that one would be my favorite on here.
Yeah. See, Matt, in my opinion, this is the most underrated Offspring album. This could easily be in my S tier too. This is probably like it's going to be my number 3 or 4 based on where I'm putting it, which is the A tier. But you've got Come Out Swinging, Million Miles Away, Damn It, I Changed Again. I even like Original Prankster. I don't love it, but I like it. Probably the only 2 songs I don't care for on here, I think are towards the end. Yeah, Denial and Vultures. Those are the 2 that I don't really listen to, but I really like this album a lot. Like, I would give this album a 5 out of 5 if I was ranking it. So I'm putting it in my A tier. So my S and A are full. Matt, I'm really curious what's going to be your other A tier album, unless you botch this one again like Bouncing Souls.
John, are you a salesman? Because that was a really great pitch, and you changed my mind. I'm moving this up to A. I'm going to use a mulligan. You're absolutely right. This is probably their most underrated album. I was listening to it as you were talking, skipping songs here and there, but yeah, I'm going to have to move this one to A because the next ones after this are not A tier at all. I don't think they can stand up to this album. And going into that was going to be Splinter is the next one. So, John, where are you putting Splinter?
This album, for me anyway, this is such a weird album because, like, at its core, like, there's some really good punk rock songs like The Noose and Never Gonna Find Me. But then you have some of the worst songs they've ever written, in my opinion, like The Worst Hangover Ever, Spare Me the Details, When You're in Prison. Like, I would have probably made this an EP and it would have been great. Like, if you can get like 5 or 6 of the best songs on here, like, I would even include Hit That, because I think Hit That, of their goofy singles like Original Prankster, Why Don't You Get a Job, maybe even Pretty Fly, I think Hit That is the best one.
Okay.
But based on all that, what I said, I'm going to put this in the B tier. They could have shaved off a lot. There's a ton of filler, but at its core, there's some really good punk songs on here. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with you, John. I think I'm going to put this one in the B tier as well. Yeah, I think this could have been, like you say, if this was an EP and you picked the best songs, this would have been a great, solid EP. It would have been a top EP in my mind. But just because of the other songs in here, and I feel like the Offspring, like, after this one, kind of started going downhill a little bit slowly and gradually. So yeah, I'm going to put this one in B.
All right. What about the next one? Rise and Fall, Raging Grace. Where are you on that one?
Rise and Fall is going to be in B for me. I don't think it's that bad to put it in a D list, but for me, this one is going to go into B. How about yourself?
I'm kind of with you, like, but I feel like this is like their most popular album, like post 2000. Like, I still see that like dance fucker dance reference like
Yep.
constantly. I mean, You're Gonna Go Far, Kid, and Hammerhead are pretty good songs, but outside of that, like there's a lot of filler on this album. Like, I think maybe 4 of the last 5 are filler. Like, I don't really care for almost the entire back half of the
Yeah.
record. Like, I know a lot of people like this album, but it's just not even gonna crack my top 6. So I'm putting it in the C tier
Okay.
for me. Like, I think those singles are good, but again, could have been an EP. Maybe like lump this in with Splinter.
Or combine this and Splinter
Yeah.
for a full length, and that would have been a great album.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Matt, up next, we've got Days Go By, which I think is like a pretty polarizing record they have. But I love the version of Dirty Magic on here. I think they did a good job. But I mean, that's probably the best song on here, and it's like they redid a song that was 10 years old at the time. The first 3 songs I can get behind all 3. Futures Now, Secrets from the Underground, Days Go By. I think all 3 of those are decent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Offspring
Those are the
songs.
best 3 on here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you have Cruising California, which may be the worst Offspring song ever written. And then you have OC Guns, which can give it a run for its money. Later on in the track list, like I Want a Secret Family to me, like is a hidden gem. It sounds like it could be right off Americana. Actually, the last 4 are all pretty good. So all in all, Matt, I think this has like 6 or 7 decent songs. So, which is more than I could say for Rise and Fall and Splinter. So I'm putting this in B. Like, I know this is like a black sheep of the Offspring catalog, but I'm going B. What about you?
Well, I only have spot in my D list left, I think, John. So this is going into D. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like after 2000, well, I don't know. Offspring kind of fell off for me. Like I didn't really like any of their new stuff. So I'm putting this one in D. I just couldn't get into it.
I was with you like at first, but then when I was living in Austin, I was walking to or from work. So I had like a lot of time to like listen to music. And I remember like I was just kind of like scrolling through Spotify, like trying to find something to listen to. And I like landed on Days Go By, and I started at 1, and it was like 1, 2, 3. I was like, damn, this is kind of underrated. So like it like hit that soft spot for me, and it was at a time where the Offspring wasn't really releasing music. I think like 2015. So maybe that's skewing my rating. I'm not sure. But I mean, I'm putting it in B. I'm not using a mulligan on this one because we only have 1 left. And based on the way our lists kind of fell, it's pretty obvious where we're both going to put this one. But Matt, if you want to give us your reasoning behind that, go for it.
I mean, I feel like this title fits this album pretty well. I mean, this is just a bad time listening to this album. I'm putting this one in D. I feel like Dexter's voice just sounds horrible. Like, I don't know what happened to his voice from like all the other albums up to this one, but I feel like it got worse. Like it just got bad. I don't know. I couldn't get behind this. I felt like they just threw it together really fast. It felt like it was rushed, maybe. So that's why I'm putting it in D. There's not really a song on here that I really like that much.
It's funny you say that, Matt, because like this album was like anything but rushed. Like I feel like they were talking about this album coming out in like a year after Days Go By. It was like 2013, and they kept talking about this new album, and then I think Coming For You came out in like 2015, and then they get the Instagram pictures of them in the studio. We're almost done. It's coming, we promise. Next thing you know, 9 years go by. We've got an album that has maybe 8 new songs. Like you've got a different version of Gone Away. You've got Lullaby, which isn't really a song. You've got Coming For You that came out in 2015. So, I mean, it took 9 years, and you get this album that is boring, flat, like
maybe the same person who stole the Green Day's album stole their studio recording and they just threw it together,
Yeah, seriously, man, like if you look at this album, it's like mind blowing that this took 9 years to put this together.
Yeah. I mean, they must have procrastinated and then rushed it at the end. They're like, oh, yeah, we got plenty of time. Don't worry about it. And then they're like, oh, shit, 9 years just went by. Let's put something out.
Yeah, like if I'm being nice, like this is not Utopia is okay. I think Hassan Chop is a decent attempt at making a classic Offspring song because it's pretty clear that's what they were trying to do. I don't hate Let the Bad Times Roll, the title track, but I definitely don't think it's great. So
Yeah.
Matt, to me, the best thing the Offspring have done in the last 10 years is make hot sauce. It's not albums.
Wait, is that Hot Sauce signed?
Yeah, dude, this is I've got like a bunch of Offspring autographs, but yeah, that is a signed hot sauce
wow.
from Dexter. So, guys, these are our rankings. We actually tried to go out of our way to make them different, but
they're really similar, I feel like. I mean,
nothing is more than one tier apart.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty clear how we both feel about these albums. Like for me anyway, S and A are kind of interchangeable at any point. Those are like the clear cream of the crop for the Offspring. And then like B through D on any given day, I can interchange them too, except for Let the Bad Times Roll, which will forever remain in the D tier.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Matt, anything else you want to say? We got through this pretty quick, which is nice.
Yeah, it is nice. No, I just wish like I know like bands have to put out like new styles and stuff, but like I wish Offspring put out like old Offspring again, like Smash or Ixnay on the Hombre or Americana. Like they try to do that again. I would really appreciate that. So if you're watching this Offspring, please put out a new album, but make it the old style.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the Offspring they're good at pretty much everything except making music. I'm just gonna show this because we're at the end, but my go-to guitar is still the Noodles Ibanez. It's my favorite guitar that I own. I really like Dexter's Hot Sauce, believe it or not. We got like a 4-pack. The only one I didn't use up was the signed one. So I mean, they're good at sponsored guitars. They're good at hot sauce. Nitro Records is apparently back. I don't know.
Oh, really?
They're putting out new
I didn't know
bands.
that.
Yeah, I saw that they revived the website maybe a year or two ago. They put up some vinyl reissues, so maybe that's coming back. But yeah, I mean, that's it. We banged this out. Matt, I don't know when this is going to air, but more than likely after this comes out, we're going to be getting into Blind Band Reviews Season 2.
My favorite, man. I can't wait. If season 1 like showed us anything like how good like bands are that are out there, I can't wait to hear what we have in season 2. So we have the whole list already, and we have not listened to that list. So it's going to be like Christmas every single time we, do a blind band review. So there's going to be some good ones, some bad gifts in there, but hopefully a lot of good ones.
All right, guys. So this video is likely going to go up on around April 10th, and then Blind Band Reviews will be the following. I think we're going to launch it on a Saturday. Maybe we'll put the first 2 up on one day as like a little kind of like we did with the bracket. But yeah, guys, keep your eyes peeled for that. Make sure you subscribe, you like the video. Leave us a comment whose list you like better, even though they're essentially the same. I'm probably going to give it to Matt since I don't have a Smash in the S tier, which is absolutely ridiculous. But
John, which album was the one that was on that video game Crazy Taxi? Remember that video game Crazy Taxi? It pretty much had every single Offspring song off one album on there.
I think it's Conspiracy of One.
Was it Conspiracy of One? I mean, that game was so sick. I feel like that game had a sick soundtrack.
Let's see. We might as well fact check. I mean, I haven't played Crazy Taxi in like over 10 years. Let's see.
I actually downloaded it probably a year ago.
Let's see.
Yeah, dude, it has...
Oh, it's Ixnay. Yeah, it's got All I Want.
Yeah, way down the line, All I Want, Change the World. And then we go into Bad Religion, 10 in 2010. Bad Religion, Them and Us. Bad Religion, Hear It. Bad Religion, Inner Logic. So yeah, it was just Bad Religion and Offspring, the soundtrack for that game, which was probably the best soundtrack ever for a video game. Up there with Tony Hawk.
Yeah, I was gonna say you better
Yeah,
be careful
up there with
that
Tony
one.
Hawk. I mean, if you're a Bad Religion and Offspring fan, definitely check out Crazy Taxi's soundtrack.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time for Lagwagon, which won the tier poll, and then we're gonna do AFI, which came in second after that. So I'm stoked for both of those.
Dude, me too. Lagwagon's going to be tough.
And AFI is gonna be really easy, at least.
Oh yeah, it's just going to be yeah. Anything after like The Art of Drowning is going to be pretty low. I feel like. Well, no, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Honestly, we'll have to talk about it beforehand because I would probably put All Hollows in my S tier. I think like those are like
Are we going to do All Hollows though? Isn't that just an EP?
That's what I was gonna ask you because that's my favorite AFI release.
I mean, that does have. I mean,
Total Immortal
Children
is my favorite AFI song. Like, maybe
how about we leave it up to the viewers? Do they want All Hollows EP in our AFI tier list?
All right. Well, we'll do it. Well, if you guys watch this far, which I don't think anybody does, let us know if you want the All Hollows EP. But I'll be putting a poll on Instagram after Lagwagon comes because the AFI video is gonna be like a month from now if we're being optimistic. But yeah, that's it. That's the 4th or 5th time I've said that's it. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week when we do Lagwagon.